Did you know that the moment you realize you're chasing tomorrow's worries today is the exact moment you can break free from them? Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a busy train platform, heart pounding, mind racing through every what if scenario, as if those thoughts alone could derail the next hour of your life. That's overthinking, an exhausting loop that steals your joy, gums up your decisions, and leaves you drained before you even begin. But what if I told you that 2,000 years ago, a small band of thinkers discovered a single mental tool so simple it fits in your pocket, so powerful it can silence your storm of doubts in seconds? No jargon, no meditation retreats, no secret breathing technique, just a clear shift in what you choose to focus on. Today, we'll strip away the clutter and dive into an ancient Stoic method that actually works, one that has helped emperors, slaves, and everyday people reclaim control of their minds. By the end, you'll have a practical exercise you can use the next time your thoughts spiral, and it might just change how you face every challenge from here on out. First, notice how you feel right now. Is your chest tight? Are your thoughts racing ahead to problems that haven't even happened? Let's call this feeling the storm. The Stoics, led by Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, taught that storms aren't dangerous. Only what you do with them is. They separated life into two zones, what you can control and what you can't. Imagine a circle drawn around everything under your direct power, your actions, your judgments, your efforts. Outside that circle lies rain, other people's choices, the weather, the past, random traffic jams. Overthinkers habitually try to fight that rain. They rehearse conversations, imagine disasters, replay mistakes, straining to push back against waves they cannot move. But what if you could drop your oars the instant you realize you're paddling against the tide? Here's the practice. The next time you notice tension in your body, stop. Take one deep breath. Ask yourself, is this thought under my control? If it's not, say, what if someone hates my presentation? Then gently label it as outside. Let the thought drift across the boundary and refocus on what you can do. Rehearse your opening line, tighten your outline, send that final email. This simple mental pivot is both concrete and credible. We know from modern psychology that labeling worries reduces their power, and ancient Stoics backed it with centuries of lived experience. Imagine you're prepping for a big pitch at work. Your mind floods with worries. They'll judge me, my data might be wrong, I'll freeze. You stop, label these fears as outside your control, and turn to what you can handle, checking your slides, practicing with a friend, reviewing your key stats. The storm subsides, replaced by focused energy. That's the first move, drawing the line between your sphere of influence and everything else. But sometimes the storm isn't just about future what ifs. It's rooted in the worst-case scenarios you refuse to face until they paralyze you. That's where negative visualization comes in. Contrary to what you'd expect, Stoics didn't preach blind optimism. They invited you to mentally rehearse loss. The loss of a job, a relationship, even your own health. Far from depressing, this exercise primes you to appreciate what you have and prepares you for setbacks without panic. Picture yourself preparing for an important presentation again. Now, take a moment to imagine stepping onto the stage and realizing your slides won't load. Feel the flush of embarrassment, the knot in your gut, the murmurs in the crowd. Hold that vision for a breath. Then, in that same moment, visualize yourself calmly adapting, telling a relatable story instead, engaging the audience with your voice alone, laughing it off with authenticity. This mental rehearsal is concrete. You vividly picture details, you emotionally feel the scenario, and credible, because countless leaders have credited this practice with making them resilient under pressure. Here's the unexpected twist. By inviting the worst outcome into your imagination, you rob it of its power to scare you. That looming, what if, loses its edge once it's no longer a stranger in your mind. And emotionally, you'll find gratitude blooming for the fact that reality often falls somewhere between extreme scenarios, not as dire as your imagination, yet not perfectly safe either. In modern terms, it's called exposure therapy, and it's used by therapists worldwide to treat anxiety. The Stoics pioneered it 2 millennia ago. Now, go back to your daily routine. Pause before you sip your morning coffee and visualize losing it, spilling it, tasting bitterness instead of sweetness, missing that comforting warmth. Feel how relief floods in when the real coffee tastes just fine. That relief trains your brain to notice small wins instead of jumping to worst-case fears. You end up calmer, more present, and oddly, more excited for whatever actually comes next. These two techniques, drawing your circle of control and negative visualization, aren't just philosophical curiosities. They are emotional launch pads. They let you carry a mental toolkit that transforms chaos into choice. In our next section, we'll explore how to weave them into a daily ritual and amplify their impact so that overthinking becomes a rare visitor, not a permanent roommate. But first, take a moment now, close your eyes, recall a recent worry that kept you up at night, and ask yourself which part of it you can influence. Then imagine the worst outcome you feared, and see yourself handling it. Feel the shift as tension melts into readiness. That single exercise is the heart of Stoic practice. Simple, concrete, credible, emotional, and strikingly unexpected in a world that tells you to distract, calm down, or just think positive. You've just met the ancient Stoic technique that actually works. When we return, we'll build on this foundation with two more powerful moves. Until then, breathe, observe, and remember, you always have a choice about where to place your attention. Now, imagine catching that inner critic mid-sentence and stepping outside the battleground entirely. In Stoic terms, this is called view from above. But you don't need a mountaintop. Instead, shrink yourself down and hover a few feet above your own voice. Hear your worry as if it belonged to someone else. Oh, here's that voice again saying I'm going to fail. You might think. But I've survived every challenge so far. In practice, when you feel your mind looping on self-doubt, maybe you've just sent a risky email or spoken up in a meeting, pause. Close your eyes for a second and picture yourself in third person, watching the scene as an impartial observer. Notice the tightness in your jaw, the speed of your breath. Label it outright. That's anxiety talking, not me. That tiny separation, concrete as placing your hand on a window pane between you and the storm, gives you space to choose a wiser response. It's no mystical feat. Modern neuroscience shows that self-distancing reduces activity in the brain's threat center, the amygdala, and engages the prefrontal cortex, where rational thinking lives. Ancient Stoics documented it in Marcus Aurelius's journals. Today you can use it in traffic, before a tough conversation, or anytime your mind feels like a crowded subway car where every opinion fights for your attention. Next, let's give this practice roots in your daily rhythm so it blossoms without extra effort. Every morning, before you check your phone or dive into email, spend 2 minutes at your desk or by the window. Ask yourself, what might go wrong today? Picture that moment, missing a deadline, spilling coffee on your shirt, fumbling a greeting, and feel the pang of that scenario. Then, right after, imagine handling it with calm curiosity, sending a quick apology, wiping the spill with a smile, greeting the person by name anyway. Write down one line. If X happens, I will do Y. Keep it visible on a sticky note or a notes app. That's your daily negative visualization turned into a plan. You've just built a mental safety net before the day begins, and every time you glance at that note, you reinforce the belief that you can handle setbacks. You're no longer overthinking because you've already imagined the worst and given yourself a concrete playbook. At sunset, revisit your day in reverse order. Close your eyes and call to mind 3 moments, one where you felt tension, one where you felt calm or joy, and one where you learned something unexpected. Don't write essays, just a word or two. Presentation nerves, late night laugh, lesson in patience. Then thank yourself for making it through. This simple reflection cements your progress, reminding you that even small victories count. You'll notice over time that you spend fewer cycles on what ifs and more on what's next. Now, put all these pieces together. In the morning, negative visualize and plan. Whenever you sense worry, draw your circle of control and label external fears. When the inner critic rages, hover above it and speak as an observer. In the evening, reflect on ups, downs, and takeaways. That sequence, plan, pivot, observe, review, is your Stoic daily ritual. It's unexpected because it asks you to dwell on worst cases instead of skipping straight to positivity. It's emotional because you feel the relief and gratitude that follow each exercise. It's concrete, 5 clear actions you can see, touch, and repeat. It's credible because it's rooted in 2 millennia of practice and validated by modern psychology. And it's simple, no apps, no hour-long routines, just a few breaths, a few sentences, a few mental steps. Consider Sarah, a project manager who used to lie awake arguing with imaginary clients at 3 a.m. She started each morning by picturing a missed deadline and jotting down, "I will communicate delays proactively." At work, she'd spot creeping doubt, draw her circle of control, and send that update. At night, she logged, "Deadline spoke, team laughed, lesson, early clarity." Within 2 weeks, she slept through until her alarm, approached meetings confidently, and handled real obstacles without spiraling. That's the power of combining these Stoic moves. You don't need more hours in the day or a quiet mountain retreat. You need a shift in attention. You need to see thoughts as objects you can manage, not enemies you must conquer. You need to invite worst-case scenarios so they lose their sting. You need to watch your own mind from above and record your progress at day's end. Overthinking will still knock at your door, but you'll no longer answer by default. You'll choose which thoughts deserve room in your head and which ones you can gently escort out. In our final section, we'll weave these exercises into a simple 5-step morning routine, share tips for staying consistent when life gets chaotic, and close with a powerful anecdote that will remind you exactly why this matters. Then I'll leave you with one last practice to cement all you've learned, and a short, unmistakable invitation to stay connected. Keep breathing, keep observing, and know that real freedom lies not in having no thoughts, but in deciding which ones get your attention. When your alarm rings tomorrow, don't reach for your phone. Stay in the thread of sleep just long enough to notice the pause between each inhale and exhale. Feel the stillness you carry into the day. Then, before you swing your legs over the edge of the bed, bring to mind one thing that might derail you today: a stalled train, a misread email, a disagreement at home, and see it clearly as if it were happening now. Let yourself feel the tension that thought brings, and then imagine yourself responding with calm. You'll send a clarifying message, take a brief walk, apologize with humility. Next, sit at your desk or kitchen table with a pen and paper, and jot one sentence. "If X happens, I will do Y." Keep it brief, keep it visible, and keep it real. After writing, stand up, stretch your arms overhead, and notice how your body responds when you've already rehearsed a solution for what could go wrong. Finally, before checking notifications or diving into tasks, close your eyes one more time and picture 3 moments you hope to create today: a steady heartbeat in a tough meeting, a genuine smile in a conversation, the relief of crossing a goal off your list. Let that positive anticipation ground you in what you can influence. Consistency won't come from motivation alone. It comes from making these moves as automatic as brushing your teeth. Anchor each exercise to an existing habit. Use the alarm pause as your cue for breath awareness. Let your morning coffee signal the writing exercise. Make your standing stretch follow after you finish filling your mug. When you find yourself skipping steps, maybe you're late, overwhelmed, or traveling, return to the simplest action. Take 3 deep breaths and ask, "What can I control right now?" That micro-pause reconnects you with the ritual. Over time, you'll notice that the stormy thoughts lose momentum almost before they surface. Think of Marcus, a busy nurse who began each shift by negative visualizing a chaotic emergency, spilled meds, a missing chart, a distraught family member. Then she'd rehearse her calm response, double-checking labels, locating records, speaking with empathy. After a month, emergencies still happened, but she moved through them with purpose instead of panic, and she slept soundly between shifts. Tonight, before you drift to sleep, rehearse one worry you carried today, but this time imagine handling it even more skillfully than you did. Feel the confidence that comes with rehearsal. Let that feeling become the last thing on your mind. If you found these 5 simple moves helpful, subscribe for more Stoic insights.